the truth.
These kind of things do happen a lot in the NBA. It seems like team gets off to a big lead, the other team makes their comeback. What's the important thing to take out of that, the way the second half went, if anything?
I mean, we want to continue to get better. I mean, that's all part of our season. So, we learn from the good things that we did tonight, and we learn from some of the things that we didn't do so well.
Frank said the idea in that third quarter is to play your guys UNAD extended minutes, thinking wouldn't have to use it in the fourth. Is there anything you have to do mentally, even when being up that big, to just make sure you're staying engaged in case something like that does happen?
You always got to be engaged until the clock hits zeros. And that was me personally the whole game.
To start the first quarter, really, right from the jump, you guys had a little bit of an extra step. Anything collectively that you saw that was going to precipitate that in the way that you played in the first half?
No, we just wanted to try to get off to a good start, continue to protect home as much as we can, and understanding that they played an exceptional game the other night against Portland. It's a very good Portland team in their home building. So we just wanted to try to make our mark to start the game.
Did you ever feel in danger of losing this game? How concerned were you at the end?
There's always a fear of losing. I go into every game with that fear. But you just work your habits, you play the game, you play it the right way, and let the chips fall where they may.
What was your reaction to the news of David's turn?
What was my reaction? Obviously it's bittersweet. The bitter part of it is that we lost a great visionary. I think him and Dr. James Naismith is two of the most important people for the game of basketball. Obviously, Dr. Naismith, because he created the game, and then David, his vision to make this game global. Don't know how many people believed in that with him or thought it was something that couldn't be done, but he made this game global, where this game is watched in over 200 countries, 200 countries, 250 countries over the world. We got, you just look at the collective group of players. You got the Giannis and the Dirks and the Manus and the Lukas now, and so on and so on. And I think you got to give him so much credit because of that, because he's just seen the game being so much greater than just in the States domestically. So my IG post, obviously, for me personally, it was a dream come true to step up on that stage and shake David's hand. Knowing where I come from, and then just gaining a relationship over the course of my career with him. That's great, and my prayers and condolences goes to his family.
Did he say anything to you that day? When he crossed the stage, it seems like he's always shared messages with guys in that moment.
I don't know.
It's just such a blur.
Yeah. I don't even know if I even heard my name being called. I think somebody had to push me up there. I was so ecstatic to be in New York City. It was my first time in New York City, I believe. Oh, second time in New York City. But just being there with my family and my high school best friends and all that stuff, it was so much. So I know for sure I remember that handshake. I remember him giving me that hat. And I remember that handshake, and I would never, ever forget that.
What did you learn about business?
You know what? He did tell me something in the back when all the rookies was in the back. He told me he wanted to wear my suit one day. I won't forget that. He told me that in the back. He said, "You think I can borrow that suit one day?" I do remember that.
In your mind, is he the GOAT among sports commissioners?
Yeah, listen, he paved the way, and now we got another GOAT at the helm. He just, what he did for the game. I think he came in and it was like 80 what? I know the exact date when he became the commissioner of the NBA. It was 84 or something like that. It's almost like it was perfect time. It was like MJ coming in, and David takes over, and he just builds the game to a point where he knew that he had another successor behind him in Adam that could keep on going. But, his legacy will live on forever, especially in this game, that's for sure.
Sport grew in your guys' time together. Did you learn anything about business in your time when you guys were on the opposite side of the bargaining table that you maybe take with you as you move on in your own?
I don't know. I haven't really had a chance to kind of reflect on that as far as the player side versus the league side, with the coaches and the owners and all of that nature. I haven't really reflected on that, but we had our battles, that's for sure, trying to figure it out. But also at the end of the day, we also understood that we want to do whatever it takes to help grow the game. And that was the one common goal from both sides. Even though we had our differences at times at the round table, it was one common thing that we all left that room and said, how can we continue to build this game and expand this game to where it is today?
Sorry about that, LeBron. What did Phoenix do to get back in it, you feel?
They made shots, we didn't get stops. That's simple. Yeah.
Did they turn up the aggressiveness you felt like?
No.
They're just simple shots.
No, they got in their early offense, but they made shots. I mean, that third quarter, I think they went for 38, I believe. Book got going, got to the free throw line. Kelly got going as well. Aiden hit some tough shots, but I don't feel like they didn't turn up the pressure. We didn't really turn the ball over as much in the second half. I had 4 personally, but we still was able to get some pretty good things offensively.
There's always the hope. High in points. You know what you're going to get from him defensively. If you can get that kind of production offensively, how much does that help?
Yeah, we've been just trying to figure out ways how we can get him back going before the injury. The injury, kind of had him out, got him off rhythm, and today we made a point of emphasis to get him the ball in his spots, and he took it upon himself to be aggressive, and it was great to see that, especially offensively.
There's always that hope to find, 5 minutes here, 6 minutes there over the course of a season, to take off of your minutes played in any given game. How much do those stretches matter for you in terms of how fresh you can be in the playoffs and things like that?
I don't know. I really don't really think about it, and I can't start thinking about the playoffs when I'm living in the moment. If the game presents itself or presents a challenge or presents an opportunity where I can get some rest, then I'm going to take full advantage of it. Excuse me, guys. What's up, bro? Huh? Everything closed. Y'all, you solo? Just you and the, oh, yeah, you got the crew. All right, hit me. I'll hit you sooner or later. Yeah, I mean, if I can get a couple minutes, it works for that game, and it may work for the next day, but I don't know.
Every commissioner in league's history up to this point has had something named after them. The Maurice Potter-Left Trophy, it's MVP, Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy. Any suggestions of what should be named for Stern?
Haven't given no thoughts yet, but the visionary that he was, the impact that he made on this game, he definitely should have something named after him. That's for sure in this league. Either if it's an award or I don't know, a day. During the course of the NBA season, the David Stern Day. I don't know. We can figure it out. Obviously, those guys in New York, they'll get around the round table and figure something out as well. I know how important he was to Adam himself, but it would be pretty cool. Obviously. Look what the guy done for this game.
Last question, please. Do you, Frank said his intention was not to bring you back in after he sat you heading into the fourth, I think. When you're in that kind of situation, do you mentally, is there a shift for you that, okay, I'm not coming back in, and do you have to reset yourself if you do go back in, or do you wait until?
No, I said I'm going to stay ready. He didn't tell me that he didn't intend to bring me back into the game, but he kind of gave me a look, and I told him I'm going to stay ready. So I was ready for whatever.
Frank, you spoke earlier this year about hoping to be able to learn a lesson whilst getting a win and not having to lose. Would tonight be a good example of that?
That's what we talked about after the game, and this is not the only time we have to do a better job throughout the season holding big leads. But still with that, we had a dominant performance in the first half, and I was proud of how we came out and approached the game. And we just got to understand there's it's a 4-quarter game, 48-minute game, and when the other team's down big, they're going to extend their pressure and they're going to keep coming after you. So, we didn't play well enough in the third or fourth quarter, but like you said, you learn lessons when you win, and that's always a good thing.
With Caruso, with Caruso, what's going on with him? Was there some awareness before this game that he might have some tightness, and how did that affect your rotation off the bench?
Yeah, it's been minor, but they did tell me a game or two ago that he's been fighting some tightness in his calf, and just something we keep an eye on. They didn't think he would miss any time, but towards that end of the third, it was a long quarter, and they informed me then that he would not return because of tightness.
Frank, 22-point lead going into the fourth. Was it your intent to keep LeBron and AD out the rest of the night at that point, or what was kind of your thought process?
Yes. I wouldn't play them the whole third if I thought that we were going to need them to return. Sometimes that works against you if you don't extend the lead in those final 3 minutes or so of the third quarter. It creates a difficult situation, but guys in the fourth quarter got to come in and do their job too. And, they went on a big run to start the fourth, so we had to bring it back.
Frank, the way you guys started the game 11 for 11 from the field, and it seemed like you were locked in on both ends of the court. Was that attributed to any sort of like turning of the page, like the calendar year? Did you guys have any discussions leading up to this game? Like, let's enter into a new phase of the season?
We do have the kind of new phase. It's a new year. Let's get off to a good start. But, really I'm asking our guys to dominate everybody they play. We played a stretch of games where, we played against teams with winning records, and we have a few games against teams that are playing good basketball, but, teams that don't have winning records. And, you have to come into the game with a mindset to dominate. And, I think our guys took that message to heart and really came after these guys to start the game. I was proud of them.
Frank, you guys, tonight and for most of the season, statistically, have really suffered when LeBron and AD don't play, but particularly just when LeBron doesn't play. What needs to be done better when he's not on the floor so that you can steal more of these moments and stuff for him?
Yeah, I think that there really hasn't been a lot of volume of those minutes to see that. I think we're going to be fine in those situations. We have plenty of firepower, plenty of defensive talent to sustain him being out for stretches of games, or or like we missed him one game last week and we didn't play well, but we're capable of winning games and winning those stretches.
Frank, Avery Bradley, I believe, had a season high in points, played a lot of minutes, probably the most since he came back from the injury. What did you see in him, and what have you been seeing in him lately?
Well, he really set the tone. I thought last game in the Dallas game for our defense, we had a great defensive performance. And, we're always, starting on Doncic, right? I mean, our group limited Doncic in that game, but he set the tone early. And that's how we started the season, with him picking up full court, really just giving contagious energy. And, it led us to a great start on the defensive end. He did it in the Dallas game, did it again tonight. And, obviously we want to reward him and encourage him to be aggressive on the offensive end. And he was tonight, and he was terrific on that end as well.
Frank, in that first quarter, we saw LeBron have that dunk and a couple other really great highlights from him. Did you feel like this was a game where we saw a little more spring in his step, and how has the days at home maybe positively influenced that?
Yeah, I think the schedule definitely contributes to that. We had 2 games in 8 days, around the Christmas game, and and we've been home. So I think naturally, I think our whole group, just gets a chance to recharge the batteries a little bit, and he definitely looked fresh during that stretch.